Today I'd like to talk to you about milling arbors, particularly for slitting saws, various types, and what I feel is a good one to get. Got my 5-axis rotary tilting table set up for the moment for a particular job I'm doing. Grey code encoder for automatic tool changer. There'll be another video to come on that later. This is the Morse 3 taper ER32 chuck I've showed you before in drill chuck alternative, and I've needed to make up a split mandrel to locate the job on there. So normally you can hacksaw 4 slots in it, just a tapped hole, tape it. This is just a sliding fit for the bush that went over it I was milling, and just screw this up and the taper pushes the legs out and locks in tight. So I had to do that. I have got slitting saws, and there's different types. You can have this diamond encrusted type cut-off wheel, and it has a 1/8 shank for the grinders and has a little screw in it, and when you put them in you find they run like that and they wobble like that. Also, another problem with these, they're supposed to be cut off, but the only bit that does the cutting is the diamonds on the outside there, so they soon wear out. So you're really better off trying to cut by wobbling backwards and forwards. But they have their uses, especially if you've got some case hardened tool steel type stuff you want to cut. But they run out, mainly because it's only a screw thread in there and it can go like that. Then you may have seen these little kits of slitting saws. I bought these to cut fine slots in, and that's the standard mandrel that comes with it. But again, there's no turn shoulder on there, just a flat face, and it relies on the screw thread, and these are loose and they run out and they wobble. So that's the problems with those type. You can machine up these, and I recommend you put a little step in there, thickness of the cutters, and 1/2 thou, 1 thou clearance, so they would then be a lot more versatile than what they are. But they're okay for light cuts. There's other types slitting saws. When we start to get away from your toys and we get into the rural men's shed, you can have various milling cutters for different slots. This one's 1/16, this one's 1/8, so you can do accurate slots, but not if it runs like that, because if they runs like that, you'll cut that width of slot in your job. So that's why you need a proper arbor. A lot of us buy these mainly because they're cheap and we haven't got much money. And great. Too small for this type. 1 inch is a standard horizontal mill type arbor. You can get 3/4. Most of the cutters are 1 inch. Just fits in. But I don't know if you can see that, but it's rocking. So you put it on and it starts to rock or run out. But the other neat thing about these is that they're actually spring loaded. So as when you have a smaller cutter, it'll push down flat. That's why this has got the big recess in there, tapered screw, fits on there like that. So that's fine. Light cuts, but again, you find that they're not accurate. The other problem too is, as you can see here, they lose their grip. What happens is, in proper, let's say professional engineering, your cutters have a little keyway in them. And the idea of that keyway is you put a little square bit of steel in there, and that grips it and allows it to cut. So where you might be taking a cut and it gets a bit tough for these will just spin on the arbor, may break a tooth, may break an arbor, or even worse, may break the whole cutter. So they're cheap and nasty. If you make toys, you work with toys, you work on a toy, they're okay. Now, I then wanted to move up to a proper arbor. As you know, if you watch my X3 CNC videos, you know that all the automatic tool changes and all that are all set for 3/4 collet. So all my holders are 3/4. So this is a 3/4 straight shaft, and it has got a 1 inch diameter ground shaft on there. So the cutters fit on, and in the spaces there's a keyway. There's a keyway in the shaft. It fits over, locks it in position and stops it from rotating. Also, you can see the diameter of the holder much larger. So that means it's gripping the cutter flatter. So sometimes you may get a bit of curve in your cutter, the very thin ones. It keeps them flat because some cutters flex. The wider you get out to the cutting teeth, the stronger it will be. Also, they come with spacers, and they allow for different size thickness cutters. Excellent. That's what I used just to slot those. Excellent. Cutter still runs out a little bit, but that was in a ER32 collet in this old machine that doesn't run true anyway. But it was minimal, it was still flat, and it worked perfect. Fairly expensive, However, even if you've got a CNC machine, I strongly recommend you buy one. Why? Not only for your slitting saws, you can use proper milling cutters, but more importantly, specialised milling cutters. See this one? They've got a taper on it, about 18 degrees. And what that's for is that when you're milling the lands on a cutter, let's say for example, it's not for this, but let's just say for example, in there, it will cut the throat for the teeth. So if you've got a CNC machine and you want to cut that shape, you have to make sure that your cutter has got the minimal radius in the bottom big enough so you may be able to cut this way, but depending on the shape and the form, you may not. So you may have to cut it this way. So how many cuts would you have to take to cut those teeth using, say, 3mm end mill? This type of cutter, 1 cut per tooth, full depth. You're sticking out on your CNC machine, sitting down in the arbor, boom, 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 boom. So you can combine the benefits of manual milling, those type of cutters, with CNC machine. You can also get your range of gear cutters, 45 specialised cutters. And there's lots of form cutters you can buy that you'll be there for a month of Sundays on a CNC machine doing it, and you take 1 cut at a time, 1 tooth, 1 cut. And the other thing I like to show you is on the 6-inch rotary table I've got, not the tilting rotary table, just the plain rotary table. It's got that size Morse taper in it. This has got the larger one. So I plan to make cutters. This is a hobbing cutter, if you've never seen one before, M1. So instead of taking a cut with this, 1 tooth, come back, another tooth, you actually have your head rotating, this rotating in sync, and as the head rotates, the gears move the right space. So when 1 tooth has moved on your rotary table, this is rotated the equivalent of 1 tooth here. That will be upcoming videos. When I get 2,000 subscribers, I'll spend a bit of time doing it. But you also can get holders like this. This is a 8mm one, because that's what the hob is, and I'm planning to make 8mm hobs. So I can put that in there. Let's just say this is a blank. This is not the cutter, just a blank. I'm going to cut that. So it will be in my rotary table. I can get my form cutter, say in here, like such. Hold it in there on my arbor here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's after you've turned it for the profile. Or you can even, if you've got a profile on your cutter, do it that way and actually cut the teeth in. You could get, say, 1/8 slitting saw and grind the form on there, and then you can use that to cut. So then I've milled it on the arbor. I can put this in the lathe, the blank, turn the form, take it out, come over to the smaller rotary table, the 6-inch one, put it in, mill the teeth, then go over to the tool and cutter grinder and grind the relief. But then, once the cutter's made, I can then, because it's made for the holder, I can use the same holder, put it in and machine it. I plan to grind a flat section on there to grip it in the collar. So, just to refresh your memory, several types of arbors, several types of slitting saw holders. Depending on the job you're going to do, what your system is, I recommend buying a 1-inch arbor, milling arbor, straight shank, and you can pick cutters off eBay fairly cheap. I bought about 10 different cutters for about $80, so they were left-hand, right-hand form cutters for cutting tooth on end mills, slot drills, all that type of thing. So if you can afford it and you don't want to play with toys, you want to do a bit more professional work, a bit easier and a bit quicker, I strongly recommend getting one. They're on eBay. If you enjoyed this video, tell your friends and subscribe. If you haven't, tell me. And as always, thanks for watching.